Hello, everyone. I'm trying to figure out how to get Weston on here. You're not here, are you, Weston? I don't. I don't see him here. Well, okay. Yeah, I'm trying to figure that out, Weston. Hold on. Give me a second. 2 minutes already. All right, I gotta go back probably then. Why won't it? What does that mean? One more. Just one. There it is. Hello?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, geez.
Nice. There we go. Now I can hear
Ah,
myself.
holy crap.
Nice.
Yeah, it's not labeled correctly. Like you would think it would say guest is waiting, add guest, you know, or
Yeah, you would think.
invitee is waiting, backstage, It doesn't. It just says
Right.
I went through it so fast I passed it like 7 times. Oh, well, good afternoon, Mr.
Well,
Weston.
good afternoon, Mr. Quirk. How you doing today?
Oh man, I slept really good.
That's
It's like
good.
I slept too long actually. I've been doing some things, and I don't know. Did you catch Igna and I's podcast yesterday?
I did not, unfortunately. I didn't
Uh,
see anything pop up in my like subscriptions. Was
uh,
it like a YouTube thing or like a
yeah,
podcast?
yeah, at the Joe Quirk YouTube for Mental Vision. Uh,
Huh.
yeah,
Well,
we did it. It's there now. Did it? They got these. They got the new thing for YouTube is go live together,
hmm.
and they say in the menu whatever it says it was beta test. So
Oh,
there are
nice.
only a handful of people that uh, have access to it right now until they actually launch it, I guess. But it's got a lot of bugs, and it took me forever because after we were done, I can usually go to my uploads and then you know I can edit it to public instead of because it wants to always launch stuff every time I do an upload. It wants to launch it in private.
Private. Yeah.
And so I gotta go in and it wasn't there. I couldn't. It wasn't in my uploads. It wasn't. The only way I could access it is when I went to the Mental Vision team chat where we talk about work and stuff, and where I posted it the day before the link to let everybody come check it out if they wanted to, and I opened it up and it says it's there and it says it's private,
Yeah,
and so
that's
I'm like,
odd.
well, how the hell do I not make how to make it not private? How do I make
Yeah.
it public if I can't find it in my channel? So I'm like, oh, whatever. Finally, I figured it out somehow, and
Magic.
after I wrote a lengthy uh, email to whatever. So I'm like, nah, we're gonna go StreamYard. Screw that. We're not doing
Yeah, I
that
don't
again.
blame you.
That was a headache. And then StreamYard's a headache too, but I'm more used to that headache, I guess.
So
Trying to
it's like
figure it
a
out.
instead of a migraine, it's like a, like a headache
A
you
two,
just get
yeah,
from
yeah,
low sugar or something.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's like when you walk into the wall. It's not a big deal. You're like, ah, I didn't see that there. So, welcome to At the Blind Spot. This is Joe's treehouse, man. We hang out here, and I hang out here and talk positivity. Are you in a mood for positivity today, my friend?
I'm in a pretty good mood today.
All
I
right.
slept late till about 12:30, but we're not going to talk about that. We're going to move on right past that.
Well, I slept
Um,
I slept later than you, so
what'd you sleep to? Like one?
I just woke up around 2. My alarm went
Oh,
off.
oh,
One
damn.
one 1:50. My alarm went off. Like, oh shit.
You a late sleeper, huh?
Not usually, but all the stress trying to get uh, that video launched yesterday, and
Wore
working
you
on.
out, huh?
Yeah, I'm working on a new project. I'm drawing it out like I did before. So,
Oh, nice.
mhm.
Well, there you go.
Well, let's introduce Mr. Weston Wright to the whole package, like I like to call him.
Well,
Uh,
sure.
to to the At the Blind Spot.
Well,
People want to know.
how's everybody doing? My name is Weston Wright. I was born completely blind because of a condition called septo-optic dysplasia, but that's boring, No, nobody
No, it's
wants to
not.
hear about all that. So we're
People want
just
to
going to
know.
move past that.
People want to know because that way, if they run into somebody else and with your situation, they'll know kind of how to be act around a person who has that kind and what kind of questions they can ask where they don't feel like if they ask the wrong question they feel like they're disrespecting somebody or hurting their
Hmm.
feelings or something.
Yeah.
So
Well, there you
we
go.
the more you're able to educate people on your situation, the easier it is for people to get along with other people and not feel weird around them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, true that. Honestly, all there is to, well, for me, I know that septo-optic dysplasia, yeah, try saying that 3 times in a row fast, can affect the brain in a few different ways. But for me, I'm just blind, and that's
Oh,
that's, that's all there
that's
is
no
to it.
fun. We like crazy people who are blind. You gotta be
Well, I can be slightly crazy sometimes. Like if I'm playing Mortal Kombat and I lose, then kind of
right on.
snap a little bit. But that's all. That's all there is to it.
All right, cool. So you said you were born blind.
I was.
Okay, so you don't know what it's like to have sight at
No,
all.
no, not at all.
Yeah, but you
And
still have
honestly,
you have
oh,
your mental vision.
yeah, true.
Yeah,
We are psychic here at the blind spot. You know what I mean?
yeah. Gotta have the mental vision.
Mm-hmm.
Is this I think visually impaired individuals an extraordinary imagination.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, yeah.
I've
And I
been
go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. I've been told like I did a bunch of writing in school, and everyone tells me like some of the stuff you come up with is like the craziest stuff that's in this that we've read in this class, and I'm like, well, I guess it's just because of my crazy imagination, and I guess it does come back to that. If you're blind, you picture things differently, and therefore, I guess you have a different type of imagination.
Mental vision.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. I'm glad I came up with that brand name because it's so fitting for
Yeah, that's
how
a pretty nice brand name. I gotta give you that.
mm,
I like that.
yeah,
Mental Vision.
yeah. So it's creative power, man.
Yeah.
You know.
So let's see. What else is there about me? As you can probably tell from that slightly odd introduction, I make a lot of jokes. Sometimes good, sometimes bad. Most of the time bad. Um, I play a lot of video games. CMR, of course.
Yeah.
Mortal Kombat 11, which is a fighting game. For those of you who don't know, I go online, fight other people, get whooped, whoop people. And yeah, that's about all there is to like my personal who I am.
Well, let's start off by how old are you? How old
I
are you?
am 18 years old, very
Woo!
elderly.
You're legal now. You're able to vote.
Yeah, true that.
Right on. Too bad you can't drive, right?
Yeah,
Well,
very unfortunate.
bumper card maybe.
But Uber, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Whoop, whoop.
It kind of does suck though, because where we're at, like I kind of live like on the outskirts of like a really small town, and we don't get Uber out here. So it's like have someone drive me there or walk. And like most of the stuff is like 50 miles away. So unless I'm like, the Flash or something that I don't know about, I can't walk.
Well, I like to be the Flash that does the moonwalk.
Oh God. No.
Yeah, because I'm always getting myself like when I'm walking around, I'm always getting myself into like corners and the best way to get out is to back up because
True, true.
I know where I've been. I just never know where I'm going.
Yeah, I can relate to that, especially if it's somewhere new. I remember the first time I got to like high school and they had me like doing stuff independently and we
Mm.
mapped out the area. I got lost for like 35 minutes looking for a class because I went to the restroom. Someone brought me there and I'm like, "Oh, okay, I appreciate it. I'll find my way back to the class." They're like, "Okay, bye." They left. I go out of the bathroom. I'm
Thanks for
like,
waiting.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh damn, where am I?
Well, that's not your fault. If a sighted person takes a blind person to the bathroom they've never been to before, and then just leaves them there, so yeah, I'm gonna be able to find my way back to where I'm supposed to go.
Well, to be fair, it was kind of my fault because
You're
I
like, oh, I
told
got it.
them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I told them I was like, I got it. But also, to be fair, I think
No,
they
you
brought
mean
me
you got
to.
it. You don't need to hold it, or you don't need to be sat down on the.
Yeah, yeah. But I thought that I would be able to make my way back to the class, and I did after that, after I learned the restroom layout. but they took me to a different restroom, and yeah,
Well, at least it wasn't. It wasn't a female restroom.
yeah, that would have sucked.
Then you really have to be doing the moonwalk and fast forward.
Nah, I'm not moonwalking. I'm sprinting. I am sprinting. Olympics. Yeah, I always
Yeah,
make sure to read like the sign, like because
yeah.
most places have braille signs,
Or they
and
have.
yeah,
Oh yeah. Or they have the letters indented or extroverted, so you
yeah,
can
yeah, they
feel.
do. So you
If
can
you
fill the
feel the
letters.
B or you feel the G, then you know which one it is.
I always look for the O on the sign because I feel like O's easy, because it's like
Yeah.
round. It's just like a
Right.
round circle. But B, the other letters work too. I've
Yeah.
actually like had where like I go to put my hand on the door handle and I think I'm like, let me make sure I'm in the right room. And I go and read the sign and it says girls. And I'm like, oh my God, I almost just walked into the girls' bathroom. Okay, let's turn around, across the hall.
Whoops.
We aren't ever going to speak of this again.
Yeah.
And yeah, good times. Good
Yeah.
times.
I remember when I first became blind, and after all the stuff, and I was able to actually go out and do things again, after all the surgeries and stuff.
Hmm.
My mom took me to my mom took me to this hotel. There's a hotel casino, and because we had to go to the veterans to the VA.
Oh, okay.
I had a doctor's appointment, so we stayed at the hotel, so we didn't have such a long drive in the
Gotcha.
morning, and so she was taking me around, and we were going from slot machines to slot machine, and she's like, I gotta go to the bathroom. I'm like, well, I'm not sitting here by myself, I don't,
Get mugged.
well, I mean, I got my cane and my sunglasses on, and I'm like, I don't know.
Daredevil style.
Yeah, I'd never been a blind person really out in public before, so it was kind of.
Yeah, I would
I'm like,
imagine that would be.
I didn't know what to expect, and then I didn't have my horns yet, I didn't,
Yeah.
and so she's like, well, I guess you're gonna have to go with me to the bathroom. I'm like, okay, and
Yeah, that's
so
awkward, and I can
yeah,
relate to that.
so she took me to the bathroom, and there's people walking, women walking by me, and I'm in the bathroom at the sink, you know, and they're like, "What are you doing in here?"
Damn.
My mom's like, "No, he's with me. He's blind. He can't see nothing. Don't worry." I'm like,
What if
"Yeah,
one of the
as long as I don't reach out and grab you, you're fine."
Yeah, exactly. What if one of the ladies was like, "Hey, handsome," like while walking past you? Then what would you do?
Well, if she smelled good, I might hold her hand. Let's go.
Well, maybe.
See you, mom.
I'm out.
I got a date.
Hey, I mean, well, you said slot machines, so like, where were you? Like, what state were you in?
Oh, in Missouri here.
Oh, Missouri. Okay, okay,
Yeah,
gotcha.
there's a casino in the middle of the state. It's and it's called Boonville,
Hmm.
and it's illegal to have it where it is, but like you can't just have them. It's
Like,
not
just
like
have them
Vegas.
out there.
Yes, they most states like you're allowed to have casinos like on the water,
Hmm.
and so they found a way around that where it's actually the casinos on water, but it's concreted.
Oh, okay, just like
Yeah,
concreted around it. I got you.
yeah. So it's like, well, okay, that makes sense, I guess. Hey, Weston, I've never really talked to very many people. Well, I think you're probably the only one I think that I've ever talked to who's born
Oh,
uh,
wow, really?
blind. Yeah, it's been blind their whole life. I mean, I've talked to a few people that lost it at an early age.
Hmm.
When they were like 5 or 6, but so they've had like from the day they were born till 5 or 6, they actually had some kind of memory of what it was
Like
like to
sight
use
was
their eyes.
like.
Yeah, like they have a small memory of like maybe a birthday or something. Blowing out the
Right, right. That makes
candles,
sense.
um, or going to a park or something like that. Seeing the grass and that seeing color.
Hmm.
And so I always had a question, and the only way I could do this real quick instead of making this a 5 hour long conversation, because I know me and you could do that marathon.
Yeah, we
Uh,
have. Well, not 5 hours, but we've talked for a while before.
yeah. Um, what when you think of a pyramid, like an Egyptian pyramid, what does your mental vision tell you it looks like?
Honestly, the first thing that came into my head when you said pyramid was like a Play-Doh pyramid, because that's the first pyramid thing I ever made, which is like, circular base, and then as it goes up, it gets narrower and narrower, and then there's a point at the top.
Like a
Um,
triangle, right?
yeah, yeah, like a triangle, like a circular base, and then it just goes up and up and up and up, and there's a point. That's what
Huh.
I picture.
Okay.
It would be sweet to go to like a pyramid though, like in Egypt or something. That'd be
Yeah.
pretty cool to do. I need to do that one day.
Yeah. So you can put your hand on it.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
hope I won't get like cursed though, like imagine
No.
like there's some ancient magic or
No,
something.
they as long as you
Something
don't go inside, you'll be fine.
Yes, the mummies will come back to life. We don't
Well,
need
they
that.
yeah, they have the superstitions where they used to write stuff on the walls. Don't enter here or you'll die.
Oh yeah,
And then
hieroglyphs.
yeah, then they would people would actually go in there, and then next thing you know, like a year later, they had got a terrible disease, and that
They
was the
died.
end.
Yeah. I'm
That's
telling
it.
you
They
what,
told
like
you. They told you, you dumbass.
they, yeah, they did. I'll tell you what, like even if I don't believe in like a superstition, if it's something that like is said to have like a bad impact on like me, like if you do
Yeah.
this, you will get a disease, I won't do it because I'm not going to risk that. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
I'll
why
go find
why?
something else to do.
Yeah, this is a giant world we live in. You know how many other
Yeah,
things you can do?
yeah.
Hell no.
If I go to somebody's house and in the front yard there's a sign that says if you pass this line you're gonna get shot, I'm not gonna go. I'm not even gonna step on their yard.
Yeah, well, the problem with that is if
Get
you're
out of here.
blind and you can't read the signs, then you better be good
Well,
at dodging.
well, hopefully you have a dog that just says no, I don't like this. Let's go.
Oh, well, yeah,
But
hopefully.
well, hopefully you don't go to somebody's stranger's house anyway.
Yeah, yeah,
You know,
exactly. Hopefully you're
unless
not
you're
just
lost.
wander. Yeah, yeah, that is true. I've had that happen once or twice. Well, not I've not got shot at, but I've had to where I'm in like a neighborhood, and I'm just
Yeah,
walking down with my mobility teacher, and like I have taken one or two. Is that a word? Took
cooking,
one or two wrong
taking.
turns. Yeah, and ended up in like a neighbor's yard, and like the teacher like would let me walk around for like 5 minutes and be like, "So do you think you're where you're supposed to go?" And I'll just turn around and
Uh,
just be like, "Really?"
I am
Really?
where I am, and that's all
Yeah.
that I.
Really? You're gonna ask that? Really? After
Yeah,
I'm like at the front of some random dude's house, you're gonna ask me that? Really?
yeah. Well, my mobility instructor was the same, but he was really cool because he was a dickhead. You know, he would mess with me on purpose. You know, he wouldn't.
Oh, oh
He
shit.
was he would be easy. You know, he was easy with me for like the first month.
Hmm.
And he would take me in and do these kind of patterns. And sidewalk training and here's what a curb. I know what all this stuff is and what it looks like. I just need you to tell me how to navigate so I
Yeah,
don't
and I'm
hurt
sure it
myself.
feels different too.
Yeah,
Like
and
it's a whole
because
different game.
you're constantly using your mental vision. It's
Yeah, like you're
you know
mapping out the areas.
yeah. I
And
I
I
I was counting my steps and stuff. I'm like, no, I'm not doing that anymore. You just got to get once you get familiar with things, you don't have to concentrate as hard. You know.
Yeah, sometimes like with me, I usually like can like I have to put half of my concentration into it and then the other half I can just think about whatever. And as long as I don't get too like off track, then I'm good. But if
Right.
I'm doing something like complex, like take last year for example in high school, there was a pathway that would lead up to the school building and there was poles on each side of it, right? There was about 10 poles. But the
Okay.
problem was there were students like in the way. So I'd have to walk through and be like, excuse me, good morning, stuff like
Move
that.
out of my way.
just start
You run them
swinging,
up. I'm
just
gonna
start
see.
swinging the cane back and forth. Better get out of the way.
Yeah, Bruce Lee. Yeah, Bruce Lee with me. Like instead of bamboo, it's a plastic
It's a
stick. It's gonna hurt.
lightsaber.
Yeah, the fiberglass stick that's gonna slap you in the face.
Yep. I'm usually polite unless someone's like they like okay, let me give you an example of when I wasn't polite. Was in the grocery store, right? And I was just walking down the aisle and I was getting some stuff for our buggy because I was with my mobility teacher and they let me go to HEB like once a week to get like, food and snacks and stuff.
Yeah.
And while I was walking, I get all the stuff, right? And I end up in line. And I say in a loud voice, Is anyone in the line? Nobody said anything. So,
Don't be shy. Don't be shy.
yeah, naturally, my response is to take 5 steps forward and turn my body slightly to the right and keep
Yeah.
going. Turns out there was a kind gentleman standing in the way who didn't say anything, even though I called out loud. And yeah, he got smacked in the leg by the cane. And he literally did like the Harlem Shake, is what I was told, to like try and get out of the way. And I'm not even joking. This man did hopscotch to try and get out of the way of the cane. And I was just like, well, sorry, man, but if you don't tell me you're not there, what do you
Right.
think's gonna happen? And he just like turned around and looked at like my mobility teacher and glared at them and walked out. And I'm like,
Uh,
what you glaring at them for? They're not the one walking with the giant cane.
yeah.
Pause on
Um,
that.
I, w- I was invited to go to a veterans. Uh, it was some kind of a party celebration get together,
Gotcha.
and it was a bunch. It was going to be. I think there's like 30. There's like 30 blind veterans at
Oh
my
wow.
VA, and we like we go every now and again. We go on a field trip, and go do something.
Mm-hmm.
But they were having to just get together, and they thought it would be a good idea to invite the hearing impaired veterans to go to
Oh.
go to this same to go to this same
Oh
kind of event.
shit.
And so when you're just telling me that the old guy was there, and in your way, and all of a sudden the light bulb went off in my head. I'm like, I remember when they invited me to go to this get together with the blind vets and the deaf, hearing impaired vets. I'm like, that's going to be a massacre. You got
Yeah,
30 blind vets with
exactly.
canes and
People who
however many
can't hear, that's
can't
just not
hear, can't
that ain't
hear,
gonna
and
work.
you're going to try to make them get, in the same kind of vicinity.
Yeah, that's just disastrous. But hey,
Yeah.
at least they had an excuse. That guy had no excuse because I heard him talking to the cashier, so he
Oh.
wasn't hearing impaired, he wasn't deaf, he wasn't nothing, and he didn't have earbuds in. I thought of that.
Yeah.
So unless
He was
he's
he was playing with you.
yes,
Yeah.
exactly, and he got freaking mollywopped in the leg for it.
Yeah. Well, see, that's what you get. People don't know how to react. That's why I'm doing this at the blind spot kind of thing, not just for positivity, but to kind of educate people
Right, and that's
on
very good. That's a
on
very
on
good
what
thing.
on what because I think the more people know, the more people are educated, the better we can all not
Like
survive.
interact with
Yeah,
each other.
yeah, and you don't have to be. I mean, some people don't like to be asked questions, but I like to be asked questions because the more I'm
I am the
able to help.
same way.
Yeah,
I love when people ask questions. I love educating people.
yeah, because I remember when I was younger, I was about a little bit less than your age.
Hmm.
I met my first blind person,
Oh, okay.
and I didn't know how to talk to them because I was scared I was going to hurt their. If I asked a question, they would get
Right,
mad at
right,
me.
right, right.
You know, I wasn't going to be like, "How does it feel to be blind?" They'd be, shut
Yeah.
up. Stupid cat. I
It's
didn't. I
freaking
didn't want.
smacks you with the cane.
Yeah, I didn't want to. I didn't want to offend them or make them feel like they were less than me or something.
Right,
Or
right.
I didn't want to do that. So I kept my mouth shut and I just asked them regular questions like, how old is your dog?
Hmm.
How does your dog know where you're going? You
Yeah,
know,
okay. Yeah, that
uh,
makes sense.
yeah, but I don't. I didn't ask like questions that I wanted to because
Hmm.
I was
Because you
scared I
didn't want to
would,
hurt their feelings.
yeah, or make them mad, or
Yeah, that makes sense. And I know that's a
but people are
concern.
people are people are scared to ask questions because they think they might be dumb questions.
Yeah, I've heard that quite a few
But the only
times.
the only question the only question that's as dumb is the one that you don't ask.
Yeah, that's true. And ignore we're not going to talk about that voice crack.
The
But
best,
yeah,
yeah.
that's
But
true.
the best way to go about asking, I think, a person, any kind of person, whether they have a disease or they just, you know, they're just different from you, is to say, hey, I don't mean to be disrespectful, and if I come across that way, I don't mean to. But how do you blah blah
And then
blah,
just ask your question. Yeah, I
or
agree.
or how did you become blah blah blah, or what I've always was curious about this, you know, but the way you ask a question is the way you break the ice. And then once you ask one question,
It
and
just
that
all
person,
flows together, and they just
then you can ask as many questions as you want, and I'm sure if they don't want to answer those, I don't really want to answer that question, you know,
yeah. I mean, you just
or
respect it and move on.
yeah, all right. But that's
I've
how you,
had
isn't that how you make friends in the first place?
Yeah,
You know?
exactly. I actually have a funny story about a girl who asked me like a really funny question
Oh
a
no.
couple years ago. Yeah, yeah, you're gonna love this. So I was in culinary, right? Which is what
Cooking,
culinary is.
cooking, yeah.
Yeah, exactly, cooking. And I was chopping up some fruit on the board, and this girl walks up to me, and she goes, I don't mean to be rude, but can I ask you a question? And I'm like, sure, go ahead. And she goes, do you shower by yourself? I said,
Ah,
what?
no, there's people in my head. They help me out.
But yeah, I kind of just took it on the chin and like smiled, and I was like, well, yes, I do. It'd be kind of awkward if I didn't, right?
I would make it funny. I'd be like, no, my mama still bathes me.
Oh my
It's
god.
sometimes she gets in there with me and we scrub each other down.
Oh my god. Okay, I don't want to picture that. Let's move on. Uh,
Yeah, but the
but
more crazy your answer is to break the ice back, the more funny more funny it is, and then you guys get comfortable.
mhm. Yeah, and
So
she was a lot
humor,
more
yeah,
comfortable like after
yeah,
that with me, like we talked, and we just got along fine after that. She just
yeah,
had to, I know that like you said, most people are just afraid to ask questions. So like if someone walks up to me and they're like, I want to ask you something, but I don't want to be rude, I just tell them, I'm like, go ahead. It's really hard to offend me, like as a person. The only way you can really offend me is if
yeah,
you like directly insult me or my family and my friends, then I'll get mad.
yeah,
But other than that, I'm a
yeah,
pretty cool person. Like,
yeah.
I like getting questions asked and answering questions and stuff like that.
Yeah, I remember somebody asked me one time if I was faking it. I'm like, what?
Okay. What
What?
the
Why?
hell?
Why would somebody pretend to be blind? You know,
Yeah,
it,
that's
that was, but it's because I knew where I was going. Because I'd been, I've done, and I went to somebody's house and I was walking around, and I went to the bathroom on my own, and I wasn't using I don't use my cane in the house.
yeah,
If
me
I,
neither. I just
and
know it,
so,
you know.
yeah, I use my mental vision, and
Mm-hmm.
I map it out. I already know where I'm at. So I
Then you
grew up,
fall down the stairs.
yeah, yeah. But somebody asked me, Joey, I said, what? Are you faking it? I said, what do you mean? Are you pretending to be blind just to fuck with us all? And I'm like, no. But then why would you ask me that? Because you're walking around here like you can see. I'm like, well, because I know where everything's at, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't need help to go to
Yep.
the bathroom or to do laundry or to
Yeah.
grab the soda pop out of the refrigerator or,
Yeah,
you know.
exactly.
So I know where I'm going,
Mm-hmm.
and I got a map in my head. I know where everything's at. So I don't need, you know, if
I
I needed
came
help,
to scope
yeah,
it out.
yeah. If I needed help, I would ask for it. Or if I needed a
Yeah.
cane, I'd use it. But I'm not gonna. I don't want to, and especially if I'm at somebody's house I've never been to, I would have to ask for help because
Yeah, exactly.
I don't want to use my cane and knock
And like
something
break
over
something.
or
Yeah,
hit
exactly.
or
That's
hit
a
somebody's
concern.
dog or cat with my cane. That wouldn't be nice. Oh
Yeah,
no,
exactly. I
oh no.
agree. That's how I am at my like grandparents' house, like which is in Florida, so we only go down there like once every year. And every
Yeah.
time I gotta map it out again. I'll just be like, hey Nana, would you mind taking me around the house so I can like map it out? And she'll
Or
just be like, oh
or
sure.
what? Yeah, I told my grandma to say, "Dad, stop moving your furniture around.
Yeah,
I
you're
gotta
telling
I gotta
me.
remap it every 6 months."
Exactly.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
but
that always messes with me.
my father taught me at a young age that if you feel uncomfortable, with the situation or whatever, uh, if you're around new people that you haven't ever been around before, start off with cracking some outlandish humor, and that kind of calms everybody down because they can laugh, and
Yeah, exactly.
laughter is melancholy. It gets everybody in a different. It
Like
changes
happier.
it changes the anxiety of being around strangers and not
Right.
knowing people. So if you can make somebody laugh, it calms the situation down, and then everybody can start being themselves. So the more outlandish you can come up with some stuff, that's not not impolite at the same time. Uh, the easier the situation becomes. So every time I
See,
go
and
into, yeah, go ahead.
I completely agree with that. Like, I'll give you an example. Well, I'll let you finish your story and then I'll give you an
Yeah.
example.
So every time I go somewhere like the bank, or somewhere where I know there's people in there, and they're gonna look at me like, oh no, this guy's blind. We gotta act, we gotta help, pretend we're not here, or don't get in their way, or
Yeah, people will
do
do
that,
that.
or don't stare, or that kind of thing.
And I'm
I
like, I
just
can't see you staring.
yeah, I'll just crack a joke. I'll crack a joke. Hey, I'm here, and everybody looks pretty today, and they're like, what? How do you
Yeah,
know?
yeah, that's
So,
great.
or I'll say, they'll say, bye, Joe, and I'll say, yeah, hear you later. You know,
Oh my gosh.
Instead of see you. So people can the next time then they see me, or they see somebody like me, they're like, oh, this is gonna be fun, you know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And
Like
then
they're just
it
at
changes
ease.
the demeanor, and it makes people more comfortable to be around somebody who has a disability.
Yeah, I'll have to like try. Okay, so when I tell jokes, I usually tell them just to like one or two people. Like I don't usually announce stuff into a crowd, but maybe I'll try that next time I go in public. And
Yeah.
that reminds me of a few days ago when I went to my barber shop to get my haircut.
Hmm.
And there was this dude who was in the barber shop, and he's like, do y'all have the game on today? And they're like, no, sir, I'm sorry, we don't. Well, I need to watch the game, okay? Like, this is ridiculous. And I leaned over to the person cutting my hair, and I was like, wow, does he pay the bills in this place or what? Like, and they just lost it. They just lost their entire mind when I said that. But yeah, I like making jokes and
Yeah.
cracking them and like
Or you walk into some place and say, hey, have anybody seen my car keys? They're like, what? You're blind,
they're
dude. You
like
got Why are you looking for your car? Well, car keys.
you're
Or
like
yeah,
echolocation.
I'm looking for my hamster. Anybody seen my hamster? You know, or I lost my socks.
That'd be
So,
unfortunate. I don't
yeah,
know how you could lose your socks,
that
but that'd be
that.
unfortunate.
Well, if you got your shoes on, what?
Yeah,
Yeah,
like how?
yeah. I'm looking for my contact lenses. You know, yeah. Right. And just say whatever comes into your head that just sounds the
Like
dumbest.
ridiculous.
Yeah,
Just say it.
say it out
I
loud.
got you.
And it breaks down people's barriers.
Yeah, I agree
You
with
know.
that. And I wish I would have been more like that, like in school. Cause like, and then like in high school, I wouldn't say I was like reserved or introverted because like I can very easily, have a conversation, tell jokes, but like I didn't
Yeah.
insert myself into a lot of things, like into a lot of, like
Well,
public things, like conversations like between friends. Well, conversations that I would like hear.
yeah.
But I still like I had like my group of friends and like that was I was good. Like I talked to them and if anyone else walked up to me, I'd be fine to talk to them, tell some jokes, make them laugh and just have like a good conversation. But like I was pretty like to myself for the most part while I was in school.
That's hard to believe that you were shy.
I don't know if I'd say I was shy. I literally just like kept to myself.
Yeah.
That's just all there was to it.
Well, that's
And
that's a
I'm not
good
really sure
quality.
why.
That's a good quality to have. If you can stand being with yourself, by yourself, all alone, and still have a good time, then you're definitely on the right track.
Yeah, that is true.
I've been around tons of people who can't stand being alone because they don't really like themselves,
Yeah,
and it's
yeah, and
because they never learn how to love themselves.
that is definitely a sad part of, today's world people,
Yeah, everybody's angry anyway, right? And people don't get their way, and
especially
but life
nowadays with
goes life
COVID.
goes on. Life goes on until it ends. But you're always going to be with yourself, in yourself, and that's all you have.
Yeah,
You can't be in somebody else. or
Well, I
you know,
mean, technically you could, but that's
it,
not something we should
that's
talk about on
no.
this
But I'm
show. You
saying
know what I mean?
you can't be in somebody else's body. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah, exactly. I know what you
So
mean.
if you love somebody, you can't, you know, people get psycho and they they want to wear people's skin or something like that. That's different.
Oh gosh.
That's a mental psychosis that needs to be
Yeah,
diagnosed
deal with that.
with a lethal injection, you know. But
Yeah, keep them out of
uh,
here.
yeah, but people just don't, they can't stand to be by themselves because they don't either understand themselves or they never like try to be introvert, like they never try to go inside themselves to find out who they really are.
Hmm.
And then if they don't like who they are, then they need to change who they are.
Yeah,
But they got to figure out a way to love themselves.
yeah.
Or
That's very, very important in
and
life.
if you
That's like the
can't,
number one
yeah,
thing.
that's my my advice to anyone is to, if you can't love yourself, how do you expect to love somebody else?
Right. Yeah, that's true. That is very
You know,
true.
and if you can't trust yourself, you know, how are other people going to be able to trust you?
Yeah,
You
how are
know,
you going to be trustworthy?
so we were talking about this yesterday. If you use the mirror, you know, if a reflection of yourself, and you try to try to project what you are, how you feel about your to other people. And if you're missing something that you feel you're missing in somebody else, then you need to work on that, you know, that on yourself, and then that will come.
Yeah.
So love will come, friendship, you know, trust, you know, enjoyment. And if you enjoy being around yourself, other people are going to enjoy being around you also.
Yeah. And that, like you said, that's a very important thing of life. Like that's how you get to places. You get
Yeah,
happy with yourself, and then you start thinking, okay, what do I need to do to,
yeah,
elevate myself, make myself, happy and like
yeah.
feel fulfilled and successful. And
Right.
then yeah, but
Yeah.
everything goes back to loving yourself.
Yeah, if you want to be inspirational and you don't need to go to those conventions to learn how to love yourself. You just do it.
Yeah,
You learn
and
you go, you have to spend time by yourself and say, you know what do I like to do? What do I love about myself?
yeah,
And if there's not very many things, then you have lots of work to do.
yeah,
You know,
that you do.
you
And
can't learn how
that's
to, yeah, you can't learn something from somebody else. That's, you know, you can't like copy paste from
someone
somebody else.
else's views and
Yeah,
theories into
no,
yourself. That's not going to
you can
work.
have a mentor. You know, you can see somebody else doing something that you want to do eventually, but then you have to get to know. Like, instead of asking how do you do that, how did you become, you know,
Like the
interested in doing that?
person,
Right.
yeah, yeah, I
So
got you.
once if you need to know how to do something, then ask how they started. Don't ask how they're doing it now, because they somebody who's doing what they're doing had to start somewhere,
Hmm.
and you should end up starting at the same spot.
Yeah,
You know,
that is true.
you can't just automatically get to the finish line.
Hmm.
You know, if it's not, if you don't have to work to do it, then it's not worth doing,
Yeah, I
because
agree. And that's,
you won't learn anything from it, and then you can't teach anybody.
yeah.
You know,
And that those are the type of things that I like to like those type of messages that I like to promote, like the stuff that you're
yeah,
saying, like,
yeah,
loving yourself and stuff like that. I
yeah.
haven't done anything like public. Like I used to do a bunch of public speaking and like stuff to promote the blind community, and I
Yeah.
haven't for like a
Because
year or so.
that's because you're a positive person, and people
Hmm.
want to hear that, especially
Yeah,
from
I
a
like projecting
somebody,
that.
yeah, especially somebody with a disability. Because somebody with disability can be so positive and thought provoking, such as individuals like you and I, they tend to be like, you know what, and it changes their aspect on their own life.
Yeah.
You know,
Like if they can be positive, I can be positive. And I
yeah,
know that everyone has different situations there, and but you can always have a positive mindset. You just got to find the good in it and in your
yeah,
situations, like whether it be you have a disease or a family member has a disease, there's always going to be people to support you and like
yeah,
good things in your life. You just got to find them,
yeah. And if you can't find them, then you need to,
make
you need to,
them.
yeah, you need to go look.
Yeah,
You
you need to
know,
go look or
they're
make
not
some
under
things.
they're not under rocks.
Yeah.
You know,
You just got to find them.
Yeah. So they're probably yeah. But I just people that don't have disabilities, they seem to tend to want to have on purpose, the pity potty where they have a bad day and oh the world's coming down and you hear it on the news even and it's like shut the hell up. You don't even know what problems are.
Yeah.
You know
Some people are like that. Some people don't know how good they have it, and then when one bad thing happens to them, they
the
just,
world's gonna end.
yeah,
No, no, no. Your world's ending. Mine's still going.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But
So
things, the thing that blah, I cannot talk. The thing that the thing they don't know is it can always be worse. It
yeah,
can always be worse. Like, you know
yeah,
what I mean?
yeah.
Until you're like dead and gone, you can always do good and you can always make things better
Right.
in this world. At least
Yeah.
that's my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah. My saying used to be, some people, some people have good days and some people have bad days. But you got to
Hmm.
remember, some people always have it worse.
Yeah, yeah, that's
So
true.
be grateful for what you have. Be grateful for what you don't have.
Hmm.
What I mean by that, people have good things in their lives, and they should be grateful for that, and thank God every day that they have those things.
Yeah,
And
I
then some
agree.
people, some people have those same people have bad things. You know, they should also be grateful for, right?
Yeah,
Because there's worse things than that. Like
yeah,
for me and you were born blind. I was shot in the head and I'm blind. But there's people that have the worse than that, and I'm
yeah,
grateful not to have those things.
yeah. Definitely,
But
there's
I would be
definitely way worse disabilities than blindness, in
you
my
could be
opinion.
you could be a blind, deaf, quadriplegic. Then what?
Yeah, yeah,
Then you have to have somebody take care of you every day. You can't do anything. You don't have no freedom.
yeah. Exactly. You don't
You're
want all
trapped in a
that.
body you can't do anything with. And I don't want to live a life like that.
Yeah, me
But
neither.
if it ever happened, there's people that are dead that can't come
Yeah,
back. They got it worse than
yeah,
me.
yeah.
But
That's true.
so be grateful for what you have. Be grateful for what you don't have because somebody always has it worse.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Don't take things for granted
I really
because
need
you
to
never know
clean up
what
this
you might
room.
not have it tomorrow.
Yeah.
If I woke up tomorrow and I was deaf too, I would be like, oh man, not
Yeah,
this.
I don't know how I would deal with it. Like if I just woke up like, deaf or completely paralyzed or something like that. I don't know how I would do it, but like you said, there's always worse things
Yeah,
than that.
there wouldn't be no more video games, and that would piss me off.
Okay, well listen, we won't even go there.
Yeah,
Don't even want to think about that.
yeah. So
I really need
what?
to
What's
clean.
Go ahead. Hey, Weston? What's Weston gonna do now that he's 18? You're gonna do something. What's your next adventure?
Well, next things up for me is
Hello? Where'd you go?
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can
Okay,
hear you.
my bad.
You're back.
Okay, I accidentally double tapped on mute microphone. Yeah, I'm dumb. Okay,
No,
okay.
you're not. You just got
So,
slippery fingers.
yes, exactly. It's this freaking lollipop that I'm trying to open that won't open. But anyway, next thing up for me is college.
All right.
I got some. I applied to some colleges and I got accepted into Texas A&M the other day on
Woo!
Friday.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I'm
All
very
right.
happy for that. I'm looking forward to it. I'm hoping to get a degree as like a psychologist, actually, like a therapist.
Oh no, not another one.
Yes, I will be your therapist.
Thank God. I that'll make a lot of people happy. Like, damn, about time Joe got some help.
But yeah, I'm hoping to be a therapist. And yeah, just get a degree in psychology. At
Mhm.
first, I was thinking of like becoming like a video game designer, like you and
Yeah,
Igna and people like that.
yeah,
But I've thought about it a little more, and like sitting behind a desk and like coding or designing things for 8 hours, like 8, 10 hours a day, that
yeah.
isn't really for me. I like to talk to people. I like to be social. And so I thought, hey, why not just become like a psychologist and a therapist? That way you can always talk to people and you can be, you can be happy with what you do because you know you're helping people.
Right.
So
That's what the world is, right? We're all supposed to help each other,
yeah,
you know.
we're all supposed to.
Hmm. That's why we're here.
Bro, this freaking lollipop is getting on my nerve. Open. It won't
I'm gl-
open.
I'm glad I didn't have to go trick or treating with you when I was a kid. Mm.
Okay, listen, we don't talk
Let's go
about that.
home. I want to eat my candy. No, man, we can go get some more. We can
Yes,
get some
exactly.
more.
It won't open. It will not open.
I don't
I'm not
know.
making this up. I'm
What kind of lollipop is it?
It's like the one with like I don't know, it's like small and it's not circular, it's kind of like an angle, like it's
Oh,
like a
okay.
star kind of, I guess.
Uh,
It
you got to
won't
pull. You got to
freaking
pull it. You got to pull it from the top. Hold the stick and pull the top off. It's a pull off, not an unwrapper,
Oh,
like a
shit.
Tootsie Pop.
Yeah, it is. That works. Thanks.
Dang,
Thanks.
blind people helping blind. You see how we do it?
Mm-hmm.
The blind leading the blind.
Oh, so good.
So, but you know, if you're going to be a psychologist and get your a degree in psychology, you could still do gaming on the side.
Oh yeah, for
Game,
sure.
you could still like as a hobby, you could do game design.
Yeah, you could. I think I'll honestly just have to like check it out, like do coding and sound design and just see if it's for
Yeah,
me. Because I did it last year, like as part of computers, but literally that
mm,
was mostly just writing down code that they gave me on a paper. That was mostly it. Like there was
yeah,
no brain complications or challenges. It was just tedious.
yeah. Well, I have a friend. Her name's Freya. She lives in England,
Mm.
uh, and she's blind, completely blind. And she emailed me one day and was like, "Hey, Joe, my name's Freya. I'm living in the UK, and I'm into game design." And she actually went to school for coding and that. I'm like,
Oh
wow.
wow.
And she loves it. Like she eats it up. She's like, "Teach me everything you know." You know, she so every time she gets an instructor that teaches her, you know, that does visually impaired, you know, teaching coding and that and algorithms
They have
and that.
people that do that, like teach
Yeah,
blind
there's
people how to code. Wow, I need to look that
yeah.
up.
I don't know if they have it. I'm sure they have somebody. Okay, so let's say somebody who is a coder, right? And they want to teach that kind of thing to people. They may do on the side as like
Hmm.
a private, you know,
Like private classes,
instructor.
courses,
Yeah, they
instruction.
for just for the visually impaired, or you know, are they? I don't know how. I don't know. I didn't ask her a lot of questions about how she somehow coordinates with people who are code writers, and
Oh wow.
they come to her house or her dorm,
Like
wherever,
flat.
and they'll tutor her.
Oh,
So she'll
wow,
go to
that's
classes.
pretty neat.
She'll go to classes, record the instructor things, you know, and then she's got her textbooks are like in
Like in
art.
Braille.
No, they're in some kind of script where she can. I don't know how she was trying to explain it to me. I didn't understand it. So it's not in Braille, but she has it in audio format. It's like a audio book, you know.
Oh, okay, like an audio file or like
Yeah,
in a.
I don't. It's somebody's. She can on her phone. She has it downloaded, her course studies and everything, and
Mm-hmm.
she can flip back and forth to a chapter or a section,
Mm, okay.
and it reads it to her. And
Wow.
so she can jump on her Mac or whatever, and she can go do what she needs to do, and then whatever. And but she'll have a private tutor come over, and if she's stuck, you know, on something, he or she can explain it to her, and then she's past that and on to the next thing. So and she's like, I'll sit on the computer for 12 hours
Oh.
because
Yeah, I don't know
she's
how.
trying to, but she enjoys the challenge, and so it's not like work. You know,
Mm-hmm.
it's fun.
It's
It's
like
fun.
fun to her.
Yeah, it's like a video game for me and you. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah, that makes sense.
you don't want to put it down because you're about to beat it. You know, I'm almost
Yeah,
there. You know, and she's like that with her with coding, and but she knows what she's doing this because she wants to give back to our community and make
yeah.
games. And I said, well, how? I said, okay, so I said, Freya, you got coding, right? You got that. and let's say you conquer that. I said, what about your imagination? What about your creativity? Well, you can be a coder, you can be a sound design, you could be whatever, but if you don't have that mental vision,
That crazy imagination, then
yeah,
it's going to
then
be more challenging for
your
you.
stuff's going to be boring. Your games are
Yeah,
going to be boring.
yeah.
It's like, unless you have a guy like me who can come up with a great idea and draw it out for you, you know, or a female like, I can't, I don't like to say female like me because I'm not a female, but
Are you
not yet.
sure?
No, I don't know. I don't feel like a female
Are you
today.
sure?
So, but yeah, this world's crazy. But
Hmm.
I don't. If you don't, you can have the most education and the most standard that's
And
been
like
taught.
training,
Yeah,
practice, but if you don't have
right.
the imagination, then
Then
yeah, it's going to
what?
be,
How? What are you gonna create with nothing? If you don't have an idea and you don't have some kind of just enthusiasm. You know, she has the hunger to learn, but is she gonna when she learns everything she can learn, is she gonna be able to turn that around and create something wonderful
yeah,
with it?
yeah, and that's important. That's definitely important. And I'm really grateful for like the fact that I have like a really crazy imagination. Like I'll literally spend like an hour coming up with something
Yeah,
like a game or something like
right,
that.
Dad. Yeah,
Like because I've been really fortunate in that like I have my dad to like help me like play games.
yeah,
So I've been able to play a bunch of like really challenging and engaging games Dark Souls, which is like a third person kind of RPG, like action RPG. So
right,
it's like it's in real time, so you have to dodge and block and parry attacks,
right,
and like slip in your own attacks like after you dodge. But like
yeah.
bosses in like Dark Souls have like 20 or 30 moves that you need to learn. So it's crazy.
See,
And I have
see, the reason why I started a mental vision podcast and doing I didn't start the At the Blind Spot for video gaming, but just to whip people's butts into positivity and just help spread that kind of thing because our world's in a negative place now and we need to get out of it.
yeah,
But
with COVID and whatnot, but
and everything else that's going on in the
yeah,
whole world.
yeah, all that.
But the when I told this story before when I first became blind, I didn't know blind people played video games.
Hmm.
So it was an educational thing for me. I'm like, yay, I get to play video games still. So I was excited, and but so this the reason why I created this YouTube channel was to educate people,
Hmm.
and not just about blind things, but about everything. That just the way people interact with each other and how to uh, not overcompensate, but how to investigate things that people are. If you're curious about something, go look for it. It's
Hmm.
there.
Yeah.
And I know this isn't going to be the one-stop shop, but it'll be a door that somebody can open and look through somebody else's circumstance,
Yeah.
and that way we're all in this together, right? We're on the same boat, just different levels.
Yeah.
So um, I was trying to bring that up just to get you off video gaming because that's not what this is about. This is about how people look at somebody in our situation, for instance, or even yours is worse than mine because you're younger than me, so and you're becoming independent, whereas I already am.
Hmm.
Well,
Like
well, I
I'm
mean,
in that phase of like
yeah,
moving out, becoming independent, college, all that.
that's why I wanted people to understand, not only what you've been through because that's the most important. That's your foundation, and you're one of the most positive people I've ever met, especially as a younger person. So this is a way for younger people to look into your situation, and say, you know what, this kid is awesome, and he makes my life look like crap. So maybe I need to do something about my life, right?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
if I can inspire people, like I said, like do good things for this world or even just for themselves, then yeah,
yeah,
yeah, I'll do
right
it.
on.
That's why I like going on these streams and podcasts and talking to people and stuff like
Yeah.
that.
Well, you and I have been friends for what, 4 years now. So,
Dang, has it been that long? Wow.
Yeah, we're
Ever
getting
since
old.
CMR, yeah, we are. Ever since CMR came out like that year, so like yeah, like 4 years. Good
Yeah,
God.
been a while. So and we keep in touch. And I always check in, make sure you're not giving it up on yourself, because I'd have to come down to Texas and put my cane in your butt.
Debatable about that. I've been
Yeah.
practicing combat, but yeah, yeah, I get what you're saying.
No, I feel like a big brother, kind of, so
Yeah, and I appreciate that. I really do appreciate like having a good friend like, like you.
yeah. Well, we keep each other on each other's toes, and we always have a good laugh,
Mm-hmm.
and
That's very important too.
we having friends that motivate each other is the best situation. And you
Oh
motivate
yeah.
me, and I feel like I've put some kind of heat in you, where you're like, well, Joe's doing this, maybe I could do, and
Oh
so
yeah,
that
certainly.
that's where it starts. If you could do it, I could do it, but maybe I could do it better.
Yeah.
And I keep telling people that, hey, everybody's replaceable, and so am I. I tell that to the mental vision team all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I said, hey, I started this baby, but I'm replaceable, and so are you.
Mm-hmm.
So it's always going to be the next, and that's the way it's supposed to be. If somebody's doing something great and somebody comes along and can do it better, then
Do
let
it.
them do it,
Yeah.
because then it'll never stop. It'll always get better and always get better.
Yeah,
And
I
if and
agree.
if and now if humanity can as a whole get better, then we're on the right track.
Mm-hmm.
But everybody has a flat tire, right?
Yeah, everyone.
you know,
Yeah.
that's why I want to increase positivity in the world, because we need to fix a flat and and put those flat tires back to work.
Mm-hmm.
So
Get some
no more,
spares.
yeah, no more pity potty, man. I'm
Yeah, I
tired of it.
agree. That ain't gonna solve anything.
Right, life goes on until it stops, and then it
Mm-hmm.
keeps going on somewhere else. So I ain't scared. Bring it
Mm-hmm.
on.
Yep.
Never say never, and never quit. That's the military, right? Never surrender.
Yeah.
Keep
That's
moving.
that's the motto to live by, really.
Yeah. All right, man. Well, I know I probably talked enough for the both of us, but that's how
Nah,
we
you're
are.
good. Yeah, nah, you're good.
And so when you going to start classes this summer, or are you going to wait till fall?
This summer.
Okay.
Probably in like I'd say I think early to mid June. I'm either gonna do online or I'm gonna like go there or I'm gonna do a mixture of both. I'm not really
Yeah.
sure yet. I kind of just have to see like what they're offering, like I need to go
Yeah.
tour the campus, see what they
Yeah.
have, what
That'll be fun.
accessibility they have, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, it's looking good for me.
They
I'm
say
really I'm really
the adventure.
honored to be accepted and
Yeah,
into the
that's what
college and all that.
the adventure starts here, man.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to be fun.
That it will be.
Just don't let yourself get overwhelmed, because if you can't get something, hopefully they'll be there to help you until you do get it.
Yeah, yeah, no, that's true. Definitely don't want to get overwhelmed. And it really is easy to get overwhelmed with all this kind of stuff, moving to college, getting
Yeah,
stuff
just
together, all that. But
my only advice to you, I think, would be just to enjoy the moment.
yeah,
That, and because it's not going to last forever, but so soak it in, and more than just the education, it's the experience.
yeah, yeah, but that's what college is all about, in my
Right.
opinion. Like, growing up, like,
Right. Oh, no,
maturing.
no, not up, in, growing in, not up. Because you
Yep.
never want to grow up, because that's when life gets old and boring. Is when I'm on, I'm this and I'm that. Okay, whatever. But what about inside?
Yeah, well, growing as a person, I mean, like
Yeah,
maturing
right.
somewhat, if only a little bit, and being able to take care of yourself and
Yeah,
learning and all that kind of stuff.
yeah.
That's
Becoming
what I think
becoming the
college is
best
about.
becoming the best version of yourself you can.
Hmm.
Yeah. Just don't become a politician. You'll be fine.
Yeah, yeah, no, don't worry. You ain't got to worry about that. I ain't never
Yeah.
gonna become a politician.
That's why I think Trump did it the best way. He stayed out of politics, and then he wasn't in in the nastiness of it all,
Yeah.
and he was able to do a lot of good things that most people in that situation wouldn't, because they already soaked themselves in the nastiness.
Yeah. I mean, love him or hate him, I mean, the country was, let's just break it down technically. The
Yeah.
country was in a better position when he was in charge than it is now.
All
Look at
right.
all
Well,
the
let's
inflation and whatnot. But I
we
don't want to get into all
yeah,
that.
we don't need we need this isn't I told people this isn't a politician channel, but I don't want to piss off YouTube either. So
Yeah, no, I don't blame him. And I'm not really interested in politics either. I try and stay out of it as much as I can. I
well,
just don't really.
I remember the 14-year-old Weston. I'm going to be president someday. You know, oh shit.
Okay, we're not gonna. We never talk about that again, okay?
Yeah. That's, well, I remember what
Especially not when
the
I
Harry
was.
Potter, the subject we don't talk about.
Yes, I remember. I was doing. That reminds me of when I was doing like some speaking, and I made a joke, and I'm like, and I hope to be president one day. In my premature voice, and I said, I hope to be president one day, and if y'all don't vote for me, I'll find out. And I look back on it now, and I'm like, oh my gosh, what? Why? Why?
Don't make me come looking for you.
Yeah, hunt you down. People like, is that a threat, sir? I'm like, no, no, not at all.
It's funny. All right, buddy. Well, hey, thanks for coming hanging out at my treehouse, and
Yeah, of course. Thanks for having me, and thank
yeah,
everybody for listening that's here.
we'll have to come check in once in a while when you get some time, some downtime,
Yeah, yeah, I'll
and
let you
let
know.
us all know what's going on. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll definitely keep. I'll hopefully I'll keep you in the loop, and I'll hopefully be able to keep everybody who's watching in the loop too.
If there's
But
anybody here. Yeah.
yeah, but I'm sure some people will watch this after too.
Yeah.
So you know
I
how it
assume.
is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, alrighty, man.
All right.
Like I said, I appreciate you having me here on
Yeah.
this podcast stream. What would you? Yeah, like a stream.
Yeah.
And yeah, I appreciate it.
Yeah. Well, tell your mom and dad I said hi,
I will.
and
I'll tell
tell them I
Thor
said
too, my dog.
yeah, tell them I said thank you for keeping your ass in line and and raising a good man.
Sometimes I feel like I keep them in line, but don't
Hey,
tell them that. Don't tell
I'm
them
sure.
that.
Shh, don't tell nobody. I'll keep a secret. All right,
Yeah,
man.
well, thanks, man, again
All
for
right, brother.
having me, and I'll
Yeah.
catch you later.
All right, brother.
All right, man.
Bye.
Take care.
All
Bye.
right. All right, everybody. That was Weston Wright, man. The amazing young man, and he's a blessed young man, and I'm grateful to have him as a friend, because I can't wait to see what he can do someday. And you never know. Maybe one day you'll have a bad day and you'll need to go see a therapist, and by golly, it'll be a blind man. Good luck with that. All right, everybody. Thanks for hanging out at the blind spot, and I hope I and Weston were educational on how to uh, how to approach individuals if you have questions without having to feel like maybe you're doing something wrong by wanting to ask questions. All right, that's it, everybody. God bless and namaste and whatever else. Bye bye.